got me into comedy was seeing a bunch of comedy specials and realizing there were brown comics out. And my parents always said that I had to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, or accountant, but I realized that I didn't have to do what they said because I could point to these brown people and be like, well, look, they're doing it. All of my jokes are from a real place. They're basically stories of stuff I've done, so I don't know if I could be a comedian if my life wasn't so fucked up. Like, what up? How's everyone doing? Up for laughs. This is exciting. Oh my God, I'm so happy to be here. All right, as you can tell from my hair, I'm a gay. Oh man, no, Toronto's a great place to be a queer person. But one thing I don't like about Toronto is how many lockdowns we've had. It's been a lot, right? We've had more lockdowns than Fast and the Furious movies at this point. Like, it's getting a little out of control. The thing is, remember the first lockdown? All of Canada lost their collective minds, right? Like, the one right before a lockdown 2, Electric Boogaloo. That one? Okay, everyone started hoarding toilet paper, like bitches were in Costco elbowing grandmas in the face, you know? Like, Canada forgot they could wash their own assholes. That's what happened. You could just go in the shower, wash your butt. What else happened? Okay, what else happened? Oh, Duolingo, right? Everyone started learning 5 languages. Did you do that? I have an owl on my phone reminding me to practice Dothraki at this point, because that's a useful skill. Like, that's really helpful in the future. Everyone started baking bread. That was a thing. Right? I know you all bake bread. I know you're all quiet because you're ashamed of it now. I know this happened because people were email chaining me at work, showing me all their bread. I'm like, bitch, I don't care that your sourdough starter died. I hope you die. Fuck you, Susie. It's horrible. Everyone started an OnlyFans. That was the thing, right? I started an OnlyFans. That's what I meant to say. My grandma started an OnlyGrans. Yeah, for $5 a month, I could watch her crochet and insult my mom's cooking. They have excellent Wi-Fi in hell, is what I found out, because that bitch is dead. Okay, cool. Oh my God, can we just go back in time and apologize to 2019? Is that a thing we can do? Can we do that? I feel like it deserves an apology, because I don't know if you remember on social media, but everyone was dunking on 2019, right? Like, 2019 is the worst year of my life. I wish I killed myself. Oh my God, the future is 2020, right? Like, the new decade it's gonna be so great. People are wearing these stupid fucking glasses at New Year's Eve that say 2020 on it, right? Like the eye holes with the zeros. People started making New Year's resolutions. Don't do that. Don't make a New Year's resolution. You're a fucking asshole if you do. Case in point, I was dating this guy, and he decided to make a resolution to take better care of his mental health, right? So he broke up with me on January 2nd. Which, fair, but I was bummed. My husband was stoked though, but I was pretty sad. Yeah, so you know what people say when you get dumped. They're like, get back on the horse, or get back on the whores, whatever. So by the time I was ready to date, it was March 2020. You guys all remember what happened then, right? Lockdowns. And have you tried dating virtually through a screen? Have you tried that? Oh my God, you can't tell if the other person and you have any physical chemistry. You don't know if the other person smells. They're using a potato for a camera. Also, I live with my husband and he's always photobombing my dates. You know what I'm saying? He's just teabagging my shoulder. I'm like, no one wants to fuck with this. Anyway, so it sounds like I'm cheating on my husband. I'm not. We are polyamorous, which is yeah, give it up for ethical sluts. It just sounds better than I'm a giant hoe bag, you know what I'm saying? So it's just yeah, polyamorous. And here's the thing, our original plan for 2020 was to have a baby. We were gonna make a baby. But did you know you have to have a lot of sex to make a baby? This is what we found out. Because the thing is, my plan was never to go to bed with the same person and wake up next to the same person. But this was what was happening during pandemic. And the only thing I could think about is just why do you breathe like that? You know, just is it okay if I kill my husband? It's just, I really hope they don't make us go back to work though. I really don't want to go back to work. Imagine going on the subway again. Imagine? No, it's the worst. Okay, do you guys remember the TTC, how they used to have posters that say thinking about suicide, right? There's help, let's talk. How are they supposed to help me more? They're already providing the trains, right? Do they have someone who just shoves you under the tracks now? What's going on? I was a giant asshole, you know what I'm saying? Just I used to tie my boobs down, wore a fake beard, fuck a lot of bitches. for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rush. Jesus Christ, okay. For those of you who are questioning it, it is not short for something like Rush Me or Rush Pinder or something else racist. I am non-binary. I didn't know that was an option because we didn't have Google back in the days, right? Like we had Ask Jeeves. And I wasn't gonna ask a robot butler what my gender was, right? My parents are from Bangladesh, and before they came to Canada, they tried to go to Germany and they got kicked out. They tried to go to the Netherlands, they got kicked out. They came to Canada, they're like, we're not getting kicked out, right? So my dad knocked up my mom. So yeah, while my mom was pregnant, they're like, okay, we need to name our firstborn son something that Canadians like. What do Canadians like? Oh, they like this band Rush, okay. Then I was born with a vagina, and they're like, you know what, this is a good plan, we stick to the plan, and that's why my name is Rush. What I'm saying is my parents are idiots. Okay, cool. But the thing is, they did want a son at first, so when I was little, they'd always just treat me like the little man of the house, right? And it was like, okay, just guard the house, you're the little man of the house. I'm like, this is great. And I'm not saying that this is what influenced me, but like as I was getting older, like I was a tomboy, and by the time I was in high school, I really thought of myself as like a trans man. Or more like a trans teenage white boy. I listened to like a lot of Papa Roach and Linkin Park. Had a wallet with a chain on it. I was a giant asshole, you know what I'm saying? Just like, I used to tie my boobs down, wore a fake beard, fuck a lot of bitches. Yeah, sometimes nice ladies too, but mostly bitches, because you get what you give, you know? It's The Secret. It's a book I've never read, but I assume that's what it's about. So my parents are Muslim immigrants, and they were just really cool with me bringing girls home. They were like, we moved to Canada, this is what Canadians do. They're all lesbians with beards, you know, just like super assimilated. During this time, I found out I was pansexual by mistake by tripping and falling onto a penis, and I was like, oh, fuck no, you know? I'm into dudes too, and they don't like my beard, right? So I stopped wearing the beard all of the time. So right, what happened was every once in a while I'd bring a guy home, my dad was super excited. He'd come to the door, he'd knock, he'd be like, Rush, what are you doing? I'd be like, Dad, I'm busy, right? Because that's what I assumed a trans man sounded like a Chad Kruger, the epitome of manliness. Anyway, so my dad would leave, he'd come back, he'd knock on the door again and be like, do you want $20? What I'm saying is every time I fucked a guy, my dad would slip a $20 bill under the door just to reaffirm that heteronormative activity was encouraged in the house. So if any of you gentlemen want to make $10, I still live with my dad. Okay, cool. So here's the thing, dating in the early 2000s as a queer person was really difficult. Like we didn't have like the apps like Grindr, Finder, 3under, Tinder, whatever. We didn't even have cable internet. We had dial-up internet. You guys remember dial-up internet? I'm surprised you're wooing that, it was awful. It would take like 3 days to download a fake nude of Britney Spears, okay? Like, you know, but by the time you got to her nipples, you're like, these are not her breasts. But I've already masturbated 16 times anyway, so you print it out, you put in your do-a-tang for later. You know, this. Yeah, do-a-tangs. Porn was hard, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so the only way to meet someone that was queer would be through chat rooms. You guys remember chat rooms? ASL? Yeah. Age, sex, location. I was just 17 in Rexdale hunting for a pussy. So I found this girl online and we started talking to each other on the phone because we didn't have digital cameras, so we had to describe ourselves to one another. And when I started talking to her, I realized she sounded like Ashanti. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna fuck Ashanti. This is gonna be great, right? So the first thing I asked her was like, what's your ethnic background? If you don't mind me asking. And she did not mind because it was 2001. So she's like, I'm half Jamaican, half Indian. I'm like, amazing, that's what I assume Ashanti is. I don't have Google yet, you know. I'm like, what's your body like? She's like, I'm tall, fit, athletic. I'm really, really, really fit. I have abs. I'm like, dope, 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 dope. All the things I'm not. And I'm like, do you look like a celebrity so I can picture it in my mind's eye, you know, just because we don't have digital cameras? And she's like, I do. My friends say I look a lot like Ja Rule. And I'm like, you know what, that's the exact same music video I was thinking of. Let's just do this. I'm still 17 and horny, right? Let's go. So here's the thing, I live in Rexdale, she lives in Scarborough. If you guys know Toronto anatomy, that's 3 hours transit in either direction. It's 2 buses and a subway, right? So I'm like, let's just meet in the middle. Let's go to Yorkdale Mall, right? And let me take you to the fanciest restaurant I can think of. Let's go to Rainforest fucking Cafe, baby. All right. great. So this is cool. All right, so I'm paying for everything. I'm a real Chad, right? So I'm just like, order whatever you want off the menu. I am buying. And she does. So for dinner, she gets this thing called a cedar wood plank salmon, which is a $30 fish dish, exactly what it sounds like, a piece of fish on wood. And for dessert, she got this thing called the volcano, which is 15 brownies on top of one another with whipped cream, ice cream, and sparklers on top. And the entire staff comes out screaming, volcano, 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 right? Because we needed more attention. Being an interracial queer couple, and my beard is falling off, and I'm just really trying to glue it back on. Anyway, I spent $70 on her that night. Okay, guys, this is 2001. With inflation, that's $3 million of now money. Okay? I could have bought a house, right? So I'm like, I guess I'm going to Scarborough to fuck Ja Rule, because she did not lie. She did look like Ja Rule. Anyway, long story short, what I'm trying to say is dating in the early 2000s is a lot like going to Firefest, you know? Because you're traveling very far, you're spending a lot of money, and Ja Rule fucks you. I'm just telling you that, like, it vacuumed my pussy while it shot lasers into it, and you guys are just like, yeah, that makes sense. Oh man, so many things changed during these lockdowns. You know, how many people got illegal haircuts? By round of applause. How many? Yeah. All right. I had a friend who was just like, I miss waxes, you know? I miss getting a bikini wax. And I'm like, bitch, do it yourself, right? Like, okay, before the pandemic even happened, you guys know what a Brazilian wax is? All right, so before the pandemic happened, I tried to give myself a Brazilian wax. Like, I went to Shoppers Drug Mart, right? I'm very cheap, this is why I did this. I went to Shoppers Drug Mart, bought some pre-wax strips, put a strip down directly in the center of my pum. And then the strip lived there for 3 hours, because I was too scared to pull it off, you know? Did not have a friend or an exit plan, just a hardening strip reminding me of all the bad decisions I made in my life previously. Like, I started doing other things hoping the problem would solve itself. I started washing dishes, but the strip didn't fly off. It just got harder and deeper into the pussy cleavage, just like lifting and separating the lips like a weird pussy bra. And I was like, great, I gotta get down there and pull this strip off myself, which I did. I went down there, pulled the strip off myself. It took out all the hair and some skin. No one warns you about that, huh? You waxers, you know this, but you don't tell other people that it wasn't a lot of blood. Three tiny droplets of blood appeared, and I was like, fuck this shit, right? Did not finish it. Had a gorgeous reverse mohawk for 6 weeks. A gorgeous reverse mohawk for 6 weeks. Yeah, and I had a glowing reddish middle strip where all the dicks knew where to go, you know, just like, because that's where you keep the slit. Cool. During that time, my husband actually had a mohawk, so it was a really fun, like, Lego piece situation where you just wedge him right in. So I was like, cool, cool, cool. This was terrifying. I'm probably gonna do this again, right? Just wanna make sure the next time I do it, it's a bit more permanent. So I made a smart decision. I went on to Groupon, right? Where all smart decisions are born. Got myself a laser hair removal package for my genitalia. Retroactive pro tip, don't do that. Because the type of laser I got did not have a nice cooling gel applied previously. Instead, there was a fun feature in it. There was a vacuum in it. There was a vacuum in it. I'm just telling you that, like, it vacuumed my pussy while it shot lasers into it, and you guys are just like, yeah, that makes sense. That is not normal, okay? Though it did combine 3 of my favorite things, lasers, vaginas, and house cleaning. But it, like, you know, it ruined my plans, because my original plans were to get my pussy blasted and then go have lunch with my mother-in-law, who worked in the same building at the United Church of Canada. So for those of you paying attention, I just let you know that I get my pussy blasted in the basement of a church. But I couldn't have lunch with her because it looked like I'd just ridden 6 horses. I was doing one of these. Because guess what happened? The vacuum laser, it burnt my vag. Like, yeah, who would have thought with, you know, the vacuum being tight and the laser being hot, right? Yeah, so I was like just crab walking, and I found out that I squirt when I'm in pain. So I'm doing one of these, and I'm just blasting off into space. With a burnt, wet front butt, you know? That's when I learned that my vagina is a lot like an octopus. It likes to squirt when it feels threatened, you know? My vagina is a lot like an octopus. Japanese schoolgirls are deathly afraid of it. My vagina is a lot like an octopus. It can open jars. I do my Kegels. It's very strong. I can lift a brick. It's an acquired taste, but if you like it, you really like it. You know, you're gonna chop it up, deep fry it, dip it in some aioli sauce, squirt some lemon juice on it. Mwah, I feel like they serve it here. My vagina's a lot like an octopus. It's mostly comprised of tentacles. This is a dumb joke. This is a dumb joke. But I got to say vagina 16 times. I haven't counted. I feel like that's the right number. Oh man, lockdowns, lockdowns, lockdowns. Do you guys feel like you were in jail while you're in lockdown? Is that what it felt like? Because I had someone tell me. Yeah? I had someone tell me that. They're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in jail. I can't go anywhere. And as someone who's been to jail, I was like, how dare you appropriate my culture, you know? Just. And I got there, I'm like, I am not gonna have sex. Everyone's missing their teeth. Like. A few years back, I got arrested for trafficking, drugs or people or something, I don't know, I was high. And fun fact about me, I'm a paralegal, right? And the police officers knew that. So they put me in a holding cell and brought other cops to point and laugh. Like, this is a paralegal, isn't that hilarious? I'm like, these are bars, I can hear you. You're very mean. Anyway, so there was a very short trial, and the government decided to cut me a deal because they didn't want their law workers in jail all of the time. So I got to go to jail on the weekends so I could keep my day job. Did you know that was an option? I didn't know it was an option until it happened to me. Yeah, it was just like this weird jail light, like a diet jail. Also like a really weird, like shitty comic book superhero, because like by day I was like a mediocre paralegal, and by night I was a shitty comic, and on the like weekends I was a convict, you know? It was just like, kept my secret identities separate. Anyway, so the closest female jail around here is in Milton, Ontario, and I don't drive. But you know who does drive? My daddy. Yeah, so my dad drove me to jail every weekend for 7 months. Yeah, let me say this again. My Muslim immigrant Bangladeshi cab driver father took his taxi and drove his dumbass daughter to jail every Saturday morning while she was hungover and reeking of all of the cigarettes, and picked her up in time for Sunday dinner. Isn't that lovely? During this time, he decided that I ended up in jail because he didn't talk to me enough, right? So he decided to talk to me. That's awful. Have you ever been talked to? Anyway, this is 2013. Nelson Mandela had just died. So my dad's driving me up to jail. He's like, you know, Nelson Mandela just died. I'm like, oh yeah, Dad, that sucks, because I ate a carton of cigarettes before I went up. Anyway. He's like, he was a great man. I'm like, yeah, he was. He ended apartheid and shit. The guy was fucking dope. He spent some time in jail too, you know. This is a real fucking conversation I had with my dad on the way to jail, okay? Like, my dad is so amazing, he thinks I'm gonna be the next South African president. Anyway, so before I went to jail, I'd never been to jail before, and I was really freaked out. So I started watching a lot of Orange is the New Black to prepare, right? And I was like, oh man, jail's gonna be so hot. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna have so much sex. And I got there, I'm like, I am not gonna have sex. Everyone's missing their teeth. Like, they take your dentures. Apparently that's a weapon. It's crazy. The Milton Hilton is what we like to call the Milton jail. And for some reason, all the Canadian geese like to go there and fuck each other. All the Canadian geese in the world like to go there and fuck each other. Have you guys seen a Canadian goose before? Yeah, you know that they're fucking insane, right? They are vicious. Like, those things will fight a van, right? And as a part-time jail, aficionado, I didn't get all the privileges, like I said, like being able to go to the yard and play, but I had a window where I could watch the full-time girls do their thing. And they released the full-time girls based on their charges. So at 11, all the larceny girls were out, and at 1, all the assault girls were out, and at 3, all the murder bitches were out. And it was really uplifting, you know, to look out your window and watch a murderess run away, screaming from a goose. Like, bitch, you tried to kill your mom, you know? But that goose got you good, huh? I think it's about time that I give you guys a life hack. Do you guys want some advice from this hot mess? Amazing. Thank you for taking advice from me for some reason. Don't do it. Anyway, did you know you could say no to a breakup? Yes, my advice comes in question format. Did you know you could say no to a breakup? So I was dating this guy, right? And he wanted to break up with me because I was cheating on him. And I was like, no, thank you, you know? And he's like, that is not how breakups work. I'm like, It's 2013. It takes 2 of us to consent. Get woke, bitch. And he was like, what? And I'm like, I'll give you $5 right now to fuck me, right? And he's like, you don't have $5, Rush. So I went to my wallet, produced a really sexy toonie, right? Because I didn't have $5. I slid over the table like this way. Anyway, he thought it was charming enough that he didn't break up with me that instant. So that became like my thing with him. Like anytime I wanted to get laid, or anytime I was trying to prevent another breakup because I kept cheating on him, I'd smack a toonie down, we'd go to town. Then one day he thought it'd be really, really cute to flip it on me. He's like, I made lobster, let's fucking do this, right? And he threw a toonie down onto the coffee table, and I was so fucking offended. Like, how dare you offer me money for sex, you know? No one pays me for sex unless it's my dad, you know? And for those of you who don't get what just happened, I told a joke earlier about how my dad gives me $20 every time I have sex with a guy. It's called a callback in comedy. And I've taught you all a valuable lesson. Anyway, I've been Rush Kazi. Thank you very much. Bye.